Can you please tell us your name and what are you doing here at HAM?
Yeah, my name is Marion Baldus. I'm a professor of education, special education, art therapy, and I had been invited to participate in this international week. And my subject this year was helping traumatized children in social work settings, and a specific focus was on how can arts and how can arts therapies contribute to understand the children first, because it's not always easy, and to help them second. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us something about your work? What do you do for work?
Well, as a professor, I do a lot of teaching, a very, very lot of teaching. Besides art and education and special education, I teach methods, research methods, and specifically narrative methods, so the narrative interview, grounded theory, and narrative analysis, which I think is very nice and very important and interesting to find out theories yourselves. And I do reading, a lot of reading, as a professor should do. And I do quite a lot of writing, but not in English yet, so unfortunately all my publications are in German, but it's a goal of myself, maybe one day, to have a good translator to translate it into English. Yeah.
Okay, and you told us at the workshop you first wanted to do art therapy.
Exactly.
Why your choice for being an art therapist?
Yeah. Well, this line started in school, so I was one of the first generation who were free to choose from different subjects, and I chose art for the Abitur, which is something like the level you need the certificate before you can go to study. And by doing this, I found myself being so happy doing art, so I did a lot of clay work and painting and drawing and sculpturing. And I felt for myself that it was easy to express feelings by doing art first. And then there was a young teacher, she was really nice and really interesting, and she asked us to do presentations, and she gave us lists. There was expressionism, impressionism, whatever you can think of, cubism. And there was one title, it was called Art of the Mentally Ill. And I've never heard about this before. I was 17 years old, so I decided to do my presentation on this. And this was about the Prinzhorn collection, which is very famous by now. And this was the beginning to have more interest in how people that are not able to talk, or they are handicapped in some way or other, or have a mental kind of state where it's they are schizophrenic or whatever, and how they draw and paint, and that was really fascinating me. So I found art could be a good medium and a good way to assist persons in expressing themselves. And that was the beginning of all, when 17. Yeah.
Beautiful.
In the workshop today, it was about children and trauma. Is that you like that especially, or are there other subjects you like?
Well, I always had been fascinated by children throughout my life, and I went to many schools, special schools, working with children, observing children, seeing children, experiencing children, and I felt always that children that behave strangely were explicitly difficult to handle, and they have very complex living situations. And by then, in the 80s, trauma or traumatized children not really had been up in the minds of research or practitioners. And I find it's a very important aspect to not forget about, because the children don't talk about it often. So you need a lot of knowledge to get a feeling and understanding for the child's situation. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have one last question.
Okay.
At your workshop, you invited students to come to your school.
Yes.
We're from creative therapy, art, drama, music, and psychomotoric. Is there also room for us as therapists?
Well, we don't have a specific branch going towards art therapies, so it's social work basically, but there are a lot of offers for doing music or media pedagogy or creating your own films and videos, doing your own art in art therapy. So there's a whole bunch of different creative offers and courses where you can pick out from. So it's not like a branch, and you will not be an art therapist or a drama therapist later on. You always will have the certificate being a social worker, but within that studies you can choose and pick those creative elements. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the golden tip for the social workers?
A tip?
Yeah, the golden tip.
The golden tip.
Yes, tell us.
Try to be yourself.
Okay, we will. Thank you very much.
Okay.